Animation is a sequence of drawings put together to create the illusion of movement. In the traditional method of animation, there were several frames having the same picture with some alteration. When these frames are viewed rapidly one after another, they appear to move. This technique is used to make cartoon films. Flash animation is a way to create simple animations for websites. It is created using Adobe Flash or a similar software program. Adobe Flash CS3 Professional provides a lot of useful tools that simplify the process of animation. It is a full-featured animation studio that lets you create animated characters and environments easily. You have already learned about some parts of the Flash window, Stage, Tools panel, and Property Inspector panel required for creating artwork. Now you will need to know about timeline, frames, keyframes, and layers to create animation. Timeline, frames, keyframes, and layers. The timeline contains a series of empty frames. It controls the timing of animation frames, the speed at which each element in the drawing moves or enters in the scene. In the timeline, frame increments are marked with small vertical lines on the ruler, and frame numbers are displayed for every fifth frame. A frame is a measure of time on the timeline. Initially, the white and grey rectangular boxes appear on the timeline. These are placeholder frames. You must add frames manually to the timeline. Frames carry the objects of animation. The frames are arranged in the timeline in the order you want the frames to appear in your animation. The playhead, red rectangle with a vertical line, indicates the current frame that is being edited. Keyframes are the frames that are key to your animation. It specifies a change in the objects on the stage. It is represented by a black dot on the timeline. By creating keyframes, you specify the duration and therefore the speed of an animated sequence. Layers are like transparent sheets of paper. You can draw different objects on each layer and make it appear on the stage whenever you want. Imagine that each image is a separate layer that has been drawn. They are placed on top of each other to create the illusion that everything was drawn on one sheet, but they are on separate layers. Inserting frames. To insert frame in the timeline, follow these steps. On the timeline, click on the placeholder frame where you want to insert a frame. Click on Insert menu. Select Timeline and then Frame from the drop-down menu. The frame will be inserted at that place and you can draw on it. Inserting keyframes. To insert keyframe in the timeline, follow these steps. On the timeline, click on the placeholder frame where you want to insert a keyframe. Click on Insert menu. Select Timeline and then Keyframe from the drop-down menu. The keyframe will be inserted. Remove a frame. Select the frame you want to remove. Click right and select Remove Frames from the menu appeared. In the same way, you can remove a keyframe by selecting Clear Keyframe. Animation in Flash. There are 3 ways to create animation in Flash: frame-by-frame animation, shape-tween animation, motion-tween animation. Frame-by-frame animation. When we make frame-by-frame animation, each frame is defined as keyframe. You can change the contents in every frame or after 10 frames. You can use drawing tools to create the image or copy and paste if you want. By default, Flash produces animations at 24 frames per second, FPS. That means 1 second of animation will have 24 frames. This produces smooth-looking animation. Now, let us make a bouncing ball animation using this technique. Create a new file in Adobe Flash. Using the Line tool, draw a horizontal line on the stage. Select Oval Primitive tool and draw a circle to make a ball. Select Paint Bucket tool and change the color of ball in the Property Inspector panel. Notice that there are 2 things in the property: fill and stroke. Stroke is the thickness of outline. Stroke has a different color than fill color. Right-click on Timeline below the frame number 10. A menu will appear. Click on Insert Keyframe. First 10 frames will have the same image as shown in the figure here. Select Selection tool and hold the ball. Move it towards up. Right-click on the timeline at the frame number 20 and select Insert Keyframe. Next 10 frames will have the same image. In the same way, move the ball up, then insert keyframe at frame number 30. Move the ball towards down and insert keyframe at frame number 40. This way, keep moving the ball towards the baseline and then upwards to make it bounce. Keep on inserting keyframes after every change. After you finish making this, press Enter key to see the ball bouncing. Shape Tween Animation. In shape tweening, you draw a vector shape at one specific frame in the timeline and draw another shape at another specific frame. Flash creates the animation of one shape morphing into another. It automatically makes the intermediate shapes for the frames in between. Let us convert a rectangle into a star. Follow these steps. Create a new file in Adobe Flash. Select Rectangle Primitive tool and drag to draw a rectangle on the stage. Select Paint Bucket tool and change the fill color to red in the Property Inspector panel. Bring the Paint Bucket tool on the stage and click over the rectangle. It will be filled with red color. Insert keyframe on frame number 60. Click on frame 60 and press Delete key to delete the rectangle. Draw a star on the same frame. To draw a star, click on Polystar 2, then go to Property Inspector panel. Click on Options. Select Star in the style and type 7 in number of sides box. Drag to draw a star on the stage and change the shape color. Click on any frame between 1 and 60 and go to Insert menu. Click Timeline and then select Create Shape Tween from the Insert menu. Notice that all the frames from 1 to 60 have changed to green color in the timeline. Press Enter key to view the animation. Rectangle changing into star. Motion Tween Animation. It is a very easy and common way to create movement with Flash. Motion tweens can also help to minimize file size, particularly over frame-by-frame animation. We will learn a motion tween that follows a motion path. These examples make the concept clear. Open a new Flash document. Click on Polystar tool. Go to Property Inspector panel. Click on Options. Select Polygon in the style and type 5 in number of sides box and click OK. In the Property Inspector panel, choose a fill color and stroke color. Drag to draw polygon on the stage at top left corner. Click on Text tool. You can also choose a contrast color for text in Property Inspector panel. Click over the polygon and type Go There. Click on Free Transform tool and drag over the polygon to select all the elements. Go to Modify menu and select Convert to Symbol. The Convert to Symbol dialog box will appear. Select the type as graphic in the type list and press OK. Right-click on the frame 1 and select Insert Keyframe. Click on Selection tool and using that, move the symbol to the down right corner, a new location. Right-click on frame 45 and select Insert Keyframe. Click on Selection tool and set FPS, frames per second, in the Property Inspector panel. By default, it is set to 24. Select and right-click on any frame between the two frames in timeline. A menu appears. Select Create Motion Tween. Notice a 24 frame span in the timeline. Press Enter key to play animation. Caution! Remember, any object you have drawn has to be converted into symbol first to implement motion tween. Testing animation for a movie. You should ensure that your animation can be played in other video players also. To do this, follow these steps. Open your saved animation file. Click on Control menu. Select Test Movie in the sub-menu. A new window is opened where animation plays. Saving animation as a movie. You can save your animation as a movie that can be played in other video players. To do this, go to File menu and select Publish Settings. Publish Settings dialog box will appear. Enter name of the output file. On the left side, check the flash.swf option under Publish. Save the settings by clicking OK. Click on the File menu and then click on Publish. This will save the flash file in .swf format.